Welcome everyone to Midwest Tree ID. On this channel, it is my mission to help you learn an abundance of trees that grow right here in the Midwest, and some key features on how to identify them. There's just one thing to clarify before we begin. We're not going to be throwing hatred or ridiculing any of the species that we're going to be talking about. But we do, however, want to encourage thoughtful conversation in the comments about personal experiences and things like that. Please try to remember that everything has value and that we are here to enjoy nature and everything it has to offer. So without anything else, let's jump right in. Hey everybody, thanks for joining me. We are here over at the University of Illinois in Urbana, Illinois, and we are talking about Pinus flexilis, the limber pine. The limber pine is starting to become a little bit more frequently found in the landscape. There are some really popular cultivars like Vanderwolf that are really doing well. The limber pine is probably more well suited for a lot of landscape areas due to its salt tolerance and its wind resistance. Those are two features that really help distinguish it from the white pine in terms of its hardiness, although both species still do very, very well and are very, very popular in most landscapes in the Midwest. So the limber pine has got needles that are fairly soft, much like the white pine, and they are borne in bunches of 5, just like the white pine, and they're typically going to be about 3, maybe 4 inches long, and they are going to have some very solid green to hints of blue in there as well, and very, very soft. And the cones are similar in size to the white pine, although the limber pine cones typically are more, I'll say, broad. They're much wider, and the scales are a little bit rounder and wider as well, if you can kind of see how they kind of look. And much like with our other pines that we've talked about, when the cones ripen, they open up and the seed disperses. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the habit and the bark. So on the limber pine, the bark is going to resemble almost identically to white pine. It's not going to be quite as furrowed as the eastern white pine on the more mature bark, but the younger bark is going to be very, very similar, although on some of these branches, as you can kind of see, it's a little bit more flaky, almost peeling, and it's typically going to be a light gray to a dull brown in color. So as you can kind of see here, these pines do maintain a very nice pyramidal, almost rounded shape, but that might just be the cultivar. It may be just the placement of these as well. They maintain their shape a lot better than the eastern white pine. That typically ends up with all of its branches blown to one side due to a lot of the strong spring winds. The limber pine does not typically have that issue, and it maintains its foliage color throughout the winter much better than on the eastern white pine. One of the other main reasons that the limber pine does still hold its shape despite handling a lot of wind is, this is why it has its name, is limber pine, is these limbs can be bent quite severely and not break, and then they typically will bounce right back. It's kind of difficult to show, and it's not helpful that it's windy today, but you can kind of tell, hopefully you can kind of tell that these are very, very flexible, hence the name limber pine. And they are native to parts of the U.S., not necessarily right here in Illinois, but they do have native roots here in the States. Thanks for joining me. That's pretty much going to wrap it up for Pinus flexilis today, the limber pine. Thanks for joining me, and we will see you guys later.